Another pre-construction project cancellation, and the buyers are asked to pay more money. What the heck is this all coming to? Stay tuned to find out on this week's episode of Prime Properties TV. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join me here today. On this episode, we are going to talk about what everyone's talking about again, another pre-construction project being canceled. The worst of all of this is that the builder is asking the buyers to actually pay more money to get the product they're on contract to finish, right? So here's the first headline. Pay more or your purchase is canceled, developer warns. Now, this is a piece that is written from the perspective of a person who bought, and you can see that they're saying that Lorenzo here bought a property in Burlington in 2017 and has waited 5 years to take possession of this. And now he just got a letter saying that, hey, I need to pay up more money or you're not going to get the project. Is this legal? The answer is, unfortunately, yes, it is. Because when you go sign the contract, it's really, really thick. Everything is essentially in the power of the builders. And there's a clause that says, unless the builder can get satisfactory financing, they aren't going to build the project and it could be canceled. So the builders will threaten to use that clause on you saying, hey, look, we're going to cancel this project unless you do X. And in this case, they're asking you to add more money to your project to make it feasible. So yes, unfortunately, it is legal. So you can go down this article here. You can see that he bought his condo for $427,000 5 years ago, which sounds like a great deal. And now he's got an email saying that they're going to increase it to $665,000. On top of that, he's going to be asked to increase his deposit by another $35,000. So you can look at it this way and say, wow, the builder's effectively almost gouging another $150,000 on the project, right? And that is exactly how this piece is written, right? And more so at the back of it says, it sucks for anyone who was an end user who was planning to move in because they could effectively be priced out of market. But this person bought it for their child and they don't necessarily need it, but it's just what we call lost opportunity. The thing that really kind of sucks and really hits home to a lot of people is that this is not the first time it's happened before, right? And that the builders are asking you to top up to get your product sounds really bad, and I think it's framed in the wrong way. But let me tell you my perspective first, but let me kind of give you a little bit of background context to why I actually think, even though this sucks for the buyers, for the economics to make sense, the builders kind of have to do it, right? So when they say that the builders need to go get financing and meaning go get construction loans, start the project, they need to go and actually sell 70% of the units. So when you price it very well and low, right, a lot of buyers come in, so they fulfill that. However, there are opportunities where the builder doesn't start construction because of zoning, maybe red tape, or maybe they don't have all the financing in order. And if they didn't start in time from 2017, maybe to 2019, and then the pandemic hit them, they basically hit a brick wall of inflation. Cost material went up. Labor has gone up. A lot of people stopped working. There was delays on everything. And this whole time they're servicing the land. So if you don't hit your pro forma numbers from the bank side, they're not going to lend you the money, meaning they can't build. And I said this is not the first time that we've seen this, and I'm not going to be surprised if we see more, because I predicted it in my 7 prediction videos at the end of last year. You can check it up here. I said that we're going to get a lot of cancellations because the cost and material inflation has gone through the roof. So any project that has not actually started building yet is probably at risk of cancellation. And I've said that many times. So when I was looking at some of the projects we did in the past, I was like, oh man, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I hope these guys start building, right? So this is why I've stopped pushing and stopped selling pre-construction in 2-3 years now, because I saw that the premium on pre-con versus resale has gone so high that most projects don't make sense. And if you're not buying from a big time builder, then the chance of them canceling is higher, because sometimes, you guys probably don't know it, but the big builders see a project that they're losing money, but to keep their reputation, because they've been building for a long time, they actually just build the project at a loss because they're well funded. They have the money to do so. But the smaller guys who are building and just getting started off don't have the capital to back it up. They can't actually build it even if they wanted to, because they have to go borrow the money. And if they can't borrow the money because the margins aren't good enough from the bank's financing perspective, then they can't get the money to build. Therefore, they're going to the buyers to ask for money to actually build. So that's the builder's perspective. I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. It's just the economics of it have worked out in that manner. Now, how we're going to fix things like this, I would say maybe reduce the red tape and maybe can force that has to be zoned at the very least before projects are sold, so that it reduces the time of, costs going up like crazy and putting people in these situations, because it really, really does suck for a lot of these people, right? And in this next article here, it says that the province is trying to crack down on this. I don't know how they're going to actually try to crack down on this, because this is not going to be the first time they've talked about this, right? And I pulled up some articles right here. Look, this is from 2019, Cosmo. This is the one in Liberty that got canceled. And I think it's still going through litigation right now. The Icona one was also another one, 2019, also got canceled. And then you got another Junction one that got canceled. There's a couple projects that got canceled in Scarborough, and there's actually one in the East End that got canceled recently. It's just, it didn't make it to headlines. So this is more common than not. It's just people don't understand, the risk you're taking when you buy pre-con. So you really got to study the project. The thing about this particular one is that you can see here, they are paying a 6% interest on the deposit. So the way I look at it from an investor's perspective is, yes, 6% is much better than your GIC, but the opportunity cost lost in these 5 years is very, very significant. I would say your condo prices have probably increased like $150,000. So he's lost a lot of opportunity costs. And those who've lost opportunity costs could be out of the market forever. So a lot of the buyers are going to try to prove damages and obviously sue the lawyers if they band together for a class action suit, kind of like what happened in Cosmos and Icona. But I just really feel for a lot of these people, because they think they have something planned, but at the same time, this risk can always happen. So you really got to be careful when you buy a pre-construction and make sure that the chance of it being canceled are actually very low based on the builder's reputation. Another example you could actually probably do, and I don't do a lot of pre-con anymore, but you can probably go back to the builder that has something that's being built and buy existing inventory. It's not as sexy as, like a market launch where there's lineups and free food and, there's a whole bunch of marketing by a bunch of realtors saying this is the best thing since sliced bread. But if you go buy one of those projects, at the very least, that there are shovels in the ground and there's people building, and the chances of it being canceled are less likely, right? So you can do that, but you just don't get a choice of the units. But in terms of pricing, you actually sometimes find a deal. So you got to go look around. Don't just gravitate towards all these hype and all the projects that are being launched right now, because it's the marketing company's job, the builder's job, and the realtor's job to put hype around the project and sell it to you like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Unfortunately, that's just how the game works in pre-construction. And I'll leave it at that. Right, so the next article here, we got Toronto's housing market cools in March amid fresh listing as interest rate hikes. The market was kind of slowing down already, making a shift even before the hike that happened in March. But now, we're applying existing data to make what we thought was causing the correction a thing true, but it was already kind of shifting. And I think the interest rates probably just, added fuel to the fire per se. But there's actually a couple interesting points here, right? So I'm going to scroll down here to show you. It says that when they're interviewing someone, there's a lot of properties over here, 31s have failed to sell on scheduled offer dates. And we're seeing this across the board. We have some listings that are kind of at the mercy of those too, where we had a surge of listings. Now, last week was March break. We did get a surge of listing, not as much as I would have thought, because maybe some were listed even before March break. But what I did notice is that the amount of listings that actually sold were very, very low, meaning that there is a glut of inventory being built up. Right? Now, one of the things you have to acknowledge here is that while the inventory is building up, it's kind of like a game of chicken between the buyers and the sellers. If the sellers saw the last house, say, sell for $1 million, and they're like, well, I'm in no dire need to sell this property, I'm not letting it go for less than $1 million or maybe more, because every seller thinks their property is better than the next guys who sold. So it's like $1 million plus whatever. On the buyer side, right, if you're represented by good agents, they're like, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe the market is slowing down. So there's less and less people coming to the table, or they're trying to negotiate. The buyers think the market is tanking and prices are going to crash. The sellers here think, hey, that last property still sold for so much. And now it's just kind of like a game of chicken. It's whoever budgets first. And this is what always happens when there's a market shift. I'm not saying it's a seasonality thing. I'm just saying it's what happens when there's a market shift. What's going to dictate is, are there some sellers who had to buy first, right, because the market was so hot, and now they're left selling, right, in a market that's not advantageous to them, but they have to sell because they're on the hook to close another property. So these guys are probably the ones that are going to have to sell for less than what the previous one. And if there's enough of these guys, then it's going to dictate kind of a cascading effect of, hey, I'm going to take less money. So the buyers who can pick on the guys, like I was saying earlier, as an opportunity cost, who need to sell, yes, you can get it for less than what it was like last month. But I would still say a majority of the sellers right now are not really desperate sellers, right? So unless you have to sell, you're not going to be finding a desperate seller anytime soon. Now, if the inventory continues to build up, where the months of inventory gets into a buyer's market, yes, absolutely, then prices will start falling down. And I'm going to talk more about this on Thursday's episode, so make sure you stay tuned to that. But what's happening right now is the buildup of inventory is a shift in the sentiment, but it hasn't seen prices come down. And I have actually a very interesting chart to show you that got updated. So here I pulled up a chart for you that I showed you a while ago. So Ben from Edge Analytics updated. And you can see he put all the numbers from 2021 and 2022 on this chart, which shows you how much inventory we have right now, which this is a Canadian stat, is sub 2. And in Toronto, last I checked, it was 0.9, like specifically in the GTA. So for prices to go backwards, you can see I've talked about before, you need the months of inventory past 5 onto the right of this and below this line where less than 0 means price or decrease. So therefore, we need to see inventory build up to that. Can prices decrease even though it, say it's a 3 to 4 months? Absolutely, it can, right? But for us to at least see the deacceleration and move into the price reversal, right, which is what I'm gonna call it to be clear right now, I'd say we have to see at least 3 months of inventory. And right now, we need to have maybe triple the supply or 3x less demand or some combination of the two to see a price reversal. Can it happen? Absolutely. Is it happening anytime soon? Probably not in the next 2 weeks or so, but I'm going to be monitoring this for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned, okay? If this is the type of real estate content you enjoy, make sure you help us spread the knowledge by smashing the like button and subscribing to the Prime Props channel, because every week we give you awesome breakdowns of headlines like this to give you actually something critically to think about, because a lot of people just read the headlines. And we're doing this because we want to be transparent and honest to you, because whenever we're thinking about making a real estate move, whether it's buying, selling, or investing, I want you guys to be thinking of us and our real estate team. Be like, oh, you know what? Zhen, you know what? I'm going to book a call with them to kind of see how I can buy, sell, or invest in real estate, because these guys know what they're doing and they're putting out good content out there. That's why we're putting it out. So if you do want to work with our team, you can do that so by booking a call with us right here using this link. It's www.chatwithzen.com. Now on to the next content. So this one was kind of interesting. I just kind of had to tie it in a little bit because Liberals and NDP make a minority power for the next 3 years. I'm not going to get all political for you for this, right? But effectively, what's happening is the NDP, Jagmeet Singh, and the Liberals, Justin Trudeau, when you put their ridings together, they're making what is equivalent of a majority government. So it kind of shunned out basically the Conservatives. And now they're together having kind of tasks and policies. While I do actually think this is very good in a very kind of unsettling kind of world we're in with the war going on, I think this is great. What I can tell from when these two are in power and all the rules that are going to probably get passed, like rules like bills and stuff, is we're probably going to be spending more money. And they kind of started with a free dental care, right? Which I'm all for, right? I kind of didn't have dental care when I was younger, so I'm all for that, right? But here are some interesting stats I put in my newsletter last week to show you the amount of spending that could potentially happen, right? So the first one is, remember when Trudeau ran for Prime Minister on affordable housing for Canadians? Oh, look, that was 2015. Right, interesting. Here's another chart. So these are the Canadian real estate charts saying that what the average price of Canadian real estate is. Oh, look, right here, that's when Trudeau got elected. The average Canadian house was $430,000. As of last week or 2 weeks ago now, the average Canadian house is $870,000, which has effectively doubled during Trudeau's term in power. Interesting. Oh, look, here's the third one. Look, Trudeau was elected here. This is the amount of money, the deficit that the Canadian government has. It was about $625 billion with a B. Oh, look, that's $1 trillion now. We've almost double our deficit. I really wonder what's going to happen for another 3 years with these two in power. And again, I'm not going to be very political. I have more views closer to conservatives, free market, all that stuff. But the ironic thing when I joke with my client is, while I do believe in that stuff, having Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh in power is probably good for any real estate investor's portfolio, because prices may go up due to the amount of money that they're printing and asset prices inflate away. Just my kind of thought process. And I will kind of leave it at that, up for you to think about. Now, we got another one here. So we got from stories.com saying that could another steep mortgage rule be on its way for investors? We kind of talked about it already. I'll put the video up here. But effectively, they're saying that the minimum down payment is increasing, and they may eliminate the use of borrowed funds from home equity line of credits and also kind of refinances, right? So I really do think the down payment is probably coming somewhere in the near future. If I had to guess, with the Liberals and the NDPs in power now, there's going to be another kind of budget that's coming out in the spring, I don't know, April or so, and maybe we'll see it there, right? But I'm not too concerned about this as an investor because I've been doing this long enough and the down payment keeps increasing. Is this going to cause some people to be priced out as an investor? Absolutely, because you don't have that money, especially if you can't borrow. And I talk about it in that video, right? But is it going to radically affect the market? Probably not. Maybe there's a little bit of shock factor at first, but in the last few times where down payments went from 0 to 5, 5 to 50, 5 to 10, and then minimum 20 for investment properties, that slowed the market down a little bit, but always picked back up afterwards. Is history going to repeat itself? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see, because now 30% of an average property in all of Canada of $870,000 is like 300 grand. It's a lot more money now, right? So only time will tell. But if you're kind of looking to invest or not, you really got to determine what your end goal is, and don't just jump in the market because you think you're going to be priced out when the down payments increase. Because you need to have a long-term horizon to understand and be profitable in real estate. Because if you're just kind of buying something and flipping it, especially in pre-con, you're going to get hurt, man, really bad, especially if like pre-construction gets canceled, right? So things to keep in mind though, and why you need someone on your side to actually give you the good advice, right? Rather than just sell you something. Now, the last article I have here is from Dr. Mike Moffat. It's actually interesting. Some of you may not enjoy this kind of content, but it's more so about how Stats Canada calculates population. And I do enjoy where he says TLDR, too lazy didn't read, right? But the idea here is that saying that the way Stats Canada kind of counts immigration is actually undercounting it. So if we are mapping how much housing we should be building, we're actually building less than what the population is because we've undercounted the housing. Now, we have a huge housing crisis. We are building enough right now, but we are letting more people in and immigrations like to increase the population. So we need that housing. There is going to be inherent demand there, but at the same time, there is going to be a cap in terms of pricing, and how they're going to artificially lift that cap. I've said this before. You increase the amortization. So maybe we're going to see 35-year amortization for first-time home buyers, maybe 40 years. It's just we're going to keep kicking the can down the road eventually, right? Because like I've said before, economically, it's just too difficult for real estate to fail right now. Can it at some point have volatility and come down? Yes. But in the long run, is it too big to fail? Getting there, getting close. I don't know what the definition of too big to fail is, but we produce so much of our GDP out of real estate, whether it's construction, building, realtor commissions, mortgage broker commissions, that it's too big of our GDP right now. And if we kind of make the housing market slow down, our GDP is going to take a hurting real bad. Anyways, that's kind of it for all the headlines I want to kind of review with you. It's changing again, like rapidly. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. So make sure you understand what's going on. If you really are kind of in the market to buy something for the end user for you to live in, I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry about all the headlines that are going on right now. Or if you're kind of getting a cash flowing property that makes sense, fine, you're good to go, right? Because if you have a long-term horizon for 5 to 10 years, you're fine. But if you're kind of just on the fence and you're speculating, or you're just getting into your first property, you may want to wait it out and see what's happening right now, because the shift in the market is real. I do think an interest rate is coming in April, and there is that potential April budget that's coming that may affect the down payment. So we have like what is the equivalent of maybe 3-week period where a lot of things could change. So if you're not kind of ready for all those change, just sit on the fence and don't do anything and wait it out. But if you are needing a home or you're buying something that's cash flow that makes sense, this could be an opportunity because there's a lot less competitive. And I said this during COVID. I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but this could be that opportunity if you buy correctly. Just don't go crazy and jump into something, right? So hopefully this gives you an idea of kind of the lay of land for this week. If you're looking for real estate help and you want to work with our team, you could book a call with me using the link right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya.